Everyone good? Okay. Call this public hearing to order. This will be on billboard from the Historical Architectural Review Board. This is the recommendation that we've received from them and on the location and their recommendation of what to do with it. So if there's no objection, I would like to put this in as Exhibit 1. Okay? Thank you. So is there anyone here to speak? Attorney Minor, I see you're here. I assume you're the attorney. Come up, please.
Good afternoon. Just for the record, I'm Emil Minor. I'm an attorney in Scranton. I'm representing William Rosado and the 141 Jefferson Avenue LLC, which is Rockies, as we all probably know it. And I'm here to speak on their behalf in favor of approval by council for an LED billboard on that property. The proposal is to place it on the side of the building facing north towards Jefferson Avenue. So you'd only really be seeing it from one direction. So that's the proposal to do that. It would be northward looking only. There's no residential for blocks and blocks, if at all, going back to, gee, I don't even know where. But it wouldn't be interfering in a light sense to anyone in a residential area. And it's all commercial from there past our office, which is 2 blocks up from there. So none of that would be an issue. I understand that HARB has ruled, or not ruled, but recommended that you not approve it, and I'm here to speak to that. It's, as I understand it, and this is my understanding, I could be wrong, that it was recommended for disapproval because there is a somewhat of a policy not to have an LED billboard or downtown. We know there are billboards downtown, and there are electric signs downtown. They're 2 different things, but in a sense they're not much different from one another as from a legal standpoint. I should note, right across the street there's a billboard on McAndrew's property. I don't know how high it goes. It's got to be 30 or 40 feet up. There's one on Buona Pizza on Lackawanna Avenue, looking west. There may be another one down towards St. Mary's Center, I don't recall, but I believe there is one down there. Now, I understand that it became a downtown historic district in 19, I believe, 2019. I could have that wrong, but I think it's around there. And some of those billboards may have been there before, and you could say they were grandfathered in if there was an ordinance or something like that. But this seems to be an unwritten policy. So an unwritten policy is something different. That remains open to flexibility. If there was a resolution or an ordinance that said there are not to be any more after the downtown district became a downtown district, well, grandfathering in then would mean something entirely different. But we don't have that here. As far as I know. I mean, that's my understanding, that's my recollection. And I think that's correct. So as to electric signs, Wayne Bank, interestingly, which is, if you're going north on Jefferson Avenue, Rockies, you cross Biden Street, Picardo's, and the next property up is actually a parking lot for Wayne Bank and then Cusick's Funeral Home. That's the properties as they go. In the back of Wayne Bank's parking lot, they actually have a sign. It's an electric sign. And it changes with interest rates and whatever it is, and it's triangular shaped so that it looks north on Jefferson Avenue, so people coming towards the hotel in Rockies would see one side of it, and people coming up Lackawanna Avenue where it turns into Jefferson would see the other side of it. And they're advertising their wares, you know, as a bank, so whatever it says, interest rates, and I don't know what else, mortgages. So we have an electric sign 2 doors up from us. So that if it's a policy, there's already one violating the policy. And the policy, as I said, is different than an ordinance where you could say definitively that was grandfathered in and there's nothing to be said about it. That's a legal method to have a non-conforming use, for using zoning terms.
Emil, so I'm just trying to figure out exactly, I want to make sure I know where they plan to put, where they're hoping to put the sign. It's going to actually be on Biden Street facing toward Bacardo's, correct?
It would be facing Bacardo's,
Okay.
right, yeah.
And what's the size?
I'm sorry?
Do you have the size of the bill?
You know, off the top of my head, I don't know.
Okay, but it's an electronic billboard and it will be facing that direction. Okay.
Yeah,
When I
think-
heard north, I guess if I was starting to think maybe it'd be the front, but the front would be east. Okay. All right. That'd be on Jefferson if it was on the front.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have that information. It may be in some of the paperwork that I received. I'm late coming to this, so I'm not fully up to speed on those things. Interestingly enough, by the way, Rockies had a Patrick Media sign there for years, and it was removed because it was there for so long. They were afraid it was some kind of danger that it might fall over in a windstorm or something. But in other words, we're not looking at a pristine property. This isn't virgin forest we're talking about. There was already a billboard and a big, similar in size to the one right across the street where Bacardo has theirs, which is, to me, not being completely conversant in that industry, a full-size billboard, you know, the size of that
By the
wall.
way, it's 8.5 by 25.
Pardon?
It's 8.5 by 25. I just found it.
Thank you. By the way, there's another, and I'm not sure this is in the downtown historic district, but just to be thorough, there's another electric sign on Mulberry Street in the credit union, just as the expressway comes into Mulberry Street. I forget the name of the credit union, but they have a big electric sign, same as Wayne Bank. Our CD rates, our mortgage rates, our credit card rates, and it rotates with information of their things they're selling, just like any other billboard would. So we have electric signs and we have billboards downtown. So this is an electric billboard, just simply combining the two things that are already there. So I'm not going to quarrel with the policy. If that's, they say their policy is, that's one thing. But I think it's just proper and fair to have that heard by a body other than a recommending body. So what we're asking today is for council to approve this, because that's not going to be, you know, the sign's not going to go up the next day. What has to happen is there has to be a zoning hearing, there has to be a variance question, and they are open to some compromises. You know, that this thing turns off at 1 o'clock in the morning till 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., offering part of the time, 10% of the time, for public purposes. But these are things that ought to happen in a zoning setting. So we're asking for approval so that that can happen. And that's, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to try and answer them.
Okay, any council members have any questions for Attorney Menor?
Maybe a question for Attorney Gilbride. Wouldn't it typically go to zoning before it comes to city council?
No, not in this case because of the distinctiveness of it being in a historic district.
Oh,
It goes to HARB first. They make an issue, and then if it's approved and council approves, then it would go to zoning if there were issues.
with respect to the designation of historic district, is that done by ordinance or proclamation, or how was,
It was done by ordinance years ago.
so it's a city ordinance?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. King. Anyone else? Is there anyone else here wish to speak on?
Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney Menor.
Good evening, Council. My name is Jeffrey Fox. I live at Mulberry Towers. The reason I'm here is like all these taxes going up, city taxes, the parking fees, and then like nothing's done with the sidewalk. And Sunday, I was out walking with my son, who is like special needs besides, down on 7th Avenue.
Sir, are you here for the billboard?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
well, that's what this hearing is for,
Oh,
sir.
okay. I'm sorry.
The city council meeting begins at
Yeah, that-
6:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
This is separate, sorry.
that's good. All right, Attorney Gilbride, is there anything further that we missed? We have our exhibit in, and we have Attorney Menor's statement.
No, Mr. President, if there is nobody left to offer anything in regard to this issue, you can close the meeting.
I have another question. So apparently, city council passed an ordinance designating historic district, certain parts of the city, correct? Is that, okay. So if we were to approve this, we'd be violating the city ordinance established by this body, correct?
In essence, yes.
Thank you.
All right, everyone satisfied? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.